Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of High Heels and Lipstick Conversations with your girl, Nemia the podcast where we keep it real and celebrate her story, her voice, and her perspective one episode at a time. Join us as we dive into empowering discussions on everything from career aspirations, personal stories of triumph, sex, love, and relationships, health and wellness, personal and spiritual growth, style tips, the balancing act of life, and much more. Whether you're strutting confidently in your favorite heels or embracing the power of a fresh swipe of lipstick, this is the space where your voice matters. So grab your favorite beverage, slip into those heels, and get ready for another conversation that will empower, inspire, and uplift. Let's strut into today's episode. And don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Let's go. Hey, what is up? What is up? It is your girl, Nemia Carnice. Listen, with season 3 premiere of High Heels and Lipstick Conversation. It has been a long time, a long time since I've been before you. I see some folks coming in. I see some folks checking in. Let me make sure I can see all my people. So y'all know how I have to do. I have to make sure that I can see all the comments and everything. If you are checking in with me, you know how I like for you to do, or if this is your first time checking in with me, the way that we check in is we put some high heels, some lipsticks, some hand claps, some hearts or something in the chat just to let me know that you are checking in and you are tuning in. We got a very, very good episode for you on tonight. We're going to share a story. We're going to meet our guest very soon. Of just an awesome story of healing, empowerment, and restoration. It is October. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And what better way than to commemorate this month than to, just share an empowering story. So come on and check in. Throw some kissy lips in the chat, some fists up in the air if you're a brother checking in. Or just let me know that you are checking in on today. So listen, there is just so much that has been happening, so much that has gone on since I've been before you. I think the last time that I've been before you was probably around April, May. Hey, Ev, thank you for checking in. Ebony sends her kissy lips. Thank you for checking in. It has been since about April or May since I've been before y'all. Listen, my body needed a rest. My mind needed a rest. Life was lifing. Son in love went off to college. Just had a lot going on. So sometimes you just got to take some time to just rest. And so that's what I did for most of the summer. But so much is just happening in the world, right? Like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot happening in the world, all the Diddy stuff, the election. I hope y'all do get out and vote because it's very important. We ain't gonna debate about who you gonna vote for, but just get out there and vote. Vote your conscience, vote your interest, whomever that may be. I know who I'm voting for, but I'm just asking y'all to get out and vote because it's very important, especially if you skin folk. Our ancestors died for us to have the right to vote. And so it is our due diligence to rock our vote. And so I hope in the days to come, we got less than a month to go, that you go out and rock your vote. Okay. So much has been going on. So much is going on. One of the things that I have been thinking about as I was thinking about coming back is that I want to do things a little different. Like, there are so many podcasts out there. There's so many platforms out there that all they do is focus on, celebrity gossip, stuff like that. And some of that is cool. Some of that is relevant to the conversations. But or high heels and lipstick conversation, I would say. But I want to do things a little bit different. So it's not going to be so much of focus on some of that stuff, some of the negative stuff that's out there in the media. What I want to do with high heels and lipstick conversation is tell empowering stories, and be a platform that, just empowers people. That doesn't mean we won't talk about relationships and stuff like that, but just keeping it from a positive, being a platform that adds to the culture, that brings value to the culture, that brings value to women, Black women in particular. So those are some of the topics and stuff that we're gonna dive into. I got some stuff that I'm brewing that's coming up in November. Again, October is all about her story, and we're gonna hear some very empowering stories. Okay, so what I've been doing, okay, if y'all don't know by now, I have dropped another book. So I gotta put in my plug for my new book that I just dropped on September 30th. Okay. So it's about a week or so old by now. You can get it on Amazon. And it's called Lipstick Affirmations. Here, let me show you a good up close and personal picture. It is called Affirmation, Words of Wisdom Every Grown Ass Woman, ASS, needs to know. There's a story behind that ASS. There's a reason behind that ASS, but you got to go and purchase the book in order to get some of these lipstick affirmations. It is this was a labor of love. This was a book that I stopped writing and then came back to, and in the midst of just trying to rest and reevaluate and think on things. But this is something that I am very proud of. It is a book that is full of affirmations for women, just to have a sense of self-worth and self-value. One of the first affirmations is never underestimate a woman who rocks high heels and lipstick. That's the shirt I got. Never underestimate a woman who rocks high heels and lipstick. There's some significance behind that. Okay, so you got to go get the book. Let me drop the link because I need y'all to be serious about this book. Help me to become a bestseller. I am going to be dropping the audio version of the book very soon. So I'm working diligently to get the audio version out there for those who, and the ebook version. So you'll be seeing that coming soon. You'll probably see the ebook before you see the audio version, but working on getting that out there for individuals who like to hear their books, and then individuals who have electronic devices and want to read their book and not get a paper copy. But my new project, Nemia Carnice, lipstick affirmation, words of wisdom every grown ass woman should know. It's a lot of wisdom in this book, so I hope that you would purchase a copy. The link is there. You can click on that link, pick up that link, and purchase your copy today on Amazon. Okay, and also, this book, Seven Lessons for Her, is still on sale too. So I'm going to drop the link to both of these again before the end of the night, before the end of our conversation, so that y'all can go and purchase. Okay, y'all see my little background? Yeah, ain't that cute? Ain't that cute? I got my little lipsticks up there. I'm trying to do something a little different. Just trying to do something a little different, a little different. Okay, let me know you checking in. I see some people coming into the room. I see Ebony. I've seen Stephanie. I've seen Kayla. If you are just coming into the room, please drop me some lipsticks in the chat, some high heels in the chat, some kissy lips in the chat, just to let me know that you are checking in. We are going to have a good conversation tonight. Again, the month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I always have to acknowledge domestic violence awareness. If you ever heard my story, you know that I've had my experience with domestic violence. That's one of the reasons why I am very adamant about making sure that I highlight and bring awareness to this month. So a couple of statistics that I want to share with you just real briefly, just in the spirit of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In the United States, okay, this is the number of victims, but more than 10 million people are victims of domestic violence each year. Okay, so this equates to about 20 people being physically abused by an intimate partner every minute. Okay, it's not just women that get abused, it's not men get abused too. It is not just heterosexual um, relationships where abuse is experienced, is heterosexual and also same-sex partnerships and marriages that experience in what they call intimate partner violence. Okay, so that's 10 million people are victims of abuse each year. Okay, one in three women, one in three women, and 1 in 4 men have been physically abused by intimate partner in their lifetime. Okay, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 7 men have been severely abused by an intimate partner. And nearly half of all women and men have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner in their lives. So it is real, it is still happening today. It is happening to our high school kids, younger and younger. Back earlier in the spring, I had the awesome opportunity to go and speak to a group of teens at a high school in a local over in Illinois, and they are, the young girls are lashing out the young men are lashing out the young girls. So it's very prevalent even in our high schools today. So it's important that we stay aware. Thank you for checking in, Karen. I appreciate you for being here on this evening. So that's domestic violence. Okay, it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I don't know when you go and get your mammograms and you go get checked out, but I usually try to schedule mines during my birthday month. So every March, I'm going to get my mammograms. Some people do it during the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if you having went and got the tatas checked out, ladies, please go get your tatas checked out because it's very important. That is another disease that is wreaking havoc on Black women. Okay. Not only that, the mortality rate for Black women is 39% higher. Okay. Which means that if we as Black women get diagnosed with breast cancer, usually we get diagnosed much later than our white counterpart women. Okay, and because we get diagnosed much later, we tend to die from breast cancer at a higher rate, 39% to be exact. Now, there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of reasons, the health inequities with the Black community, so on and so forth. Some Black women don't have good access to health care, the foods we eat, so on and so forth. So there's a reason behind that. But the fact is that breast cancer is affecting us and we're dying faster, quicker than our white counterparts. So it's important that we go and get our tatas checked. Okay. But in 2022, a couple of statistics, about 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer worldwide, and 670,000 died. Okay. Every 14 seconds, somewhere in the world, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in women, both in the developed and less developed world. So, America, as well as your third world states. And it's represented by 12% of all new cancer cases and 25% of all cancers in women. So, breast cancer is the most common cancer for women. Okay. And it's the most frequently diagnosed cancer among women in 157 out of 185 countries. Okay. The most alarming, again, for us as Black women is we die faster, more often, 39% more likely to die from breast cancer than our white counterparts. So it's very important for us to get checked out. Okay. Okay, so listen, given all that, let's go ahead and get into our conversation on this evening. Again, we for the month of October, I wanted to start off. This is season 3, episode 41. I wanted to start off with an inspiring story, a story of healing, empowerment and restoration, which patterns the book, the first book that I wrote, 7 Lessons for Her, H.E.R. There's a meaning behind H.E.R. And so I put a blast out to garner stories from individuals who kind of fit that pattern of healing, empowerment, and restoration. Because this is the month of October, we're going to get all the breast cancer awareness facts, all the domestic violence facts. But I wanted to share, or to have folks to come on and share a story that was empowering. So I have two guests on this evening. So this story tonight that we're going to hear was inspired by the Ja'Niyah McMichael story. And if you don't know Ja'Niyah McMichael, she's the 13-year-old young, what they're terming as runaway. She's from Gary, Indiana. It was all over social media. She still has not been found. It's been 2 months. The FBI is now involved. Okay, so they're now involved in investigating her. She still has not been found. Before the FBI got involved, there was just a lot going on social media about this story. The mother, the father, the family issues, and all. And I'll be the first to admit I didn't dig and go down the rabbit hole of the story. I just knew some of the surface stuff that was going on, but I was really touched by that story, because you think about all that's going on in this day and age in 2024. For someone the age of 13 to be out there as a runaway, there's so much that could happen, and does happen to young girls. I mean, there's the sex trafficking. I mean, that's really big. Like, it's an underground thing, but it's really, really big. And there is a lot of that that's happening. If you're in the Northwest Indiana area, there is a lot of that that's happening in this area. Okay, so it's like a epidemic of sex trafficking. Okay. And I got to be careful because I'm on YouTube. So there's certain words that you can't play. But it's an epidemic in this area. And so the story just touched me. Okay. So I want to share a couple of facts, and then I'm going to bring our guest, because I have a mother and her daughter. And she's a grown adult now. But want to share their story of a similar situation that happened to them when they were younger, and I'm gonna bring them up. But I want to share these facts. But it says, according to the National Center for State Legislators, 1.5 million children and adolescents, or about 7% of the youth, run away each year. Okay, and there's a number of reasons for that. There's family issues, there's drug abuse, there's some type of sexual or physical abuse that is happening. There's a number of reasons why children decide to just pick up and run away. But the National Runaway Safeline estimates that the number of runaways is between 1.6 million and 2.8 million yearly. Now, that is a lot of children. That is a lot of children to run away. And so we have Robin and Charlay. Okay, Robin and Charlay are going to share their story. We're going to dig into their story a little bit. So I want y'all to get ready and put some kissy lips, some high heels, some claps in the chat. And we're going to bring up our guests, Robin and Charlay, to share their story. Welcome, Charlay. Welcome, Robin. How are you?
Good.
Good. So again, thank you again for agreeing to come on board and share your story. We have a number of people that are checking in. Some folks may have some questions, and we're going to dialogue with the audience as well on this evening. But I just want to start off by just thanking you for being here and being willing to share your story. I've already shared that this is a safe space. And so we want to make sure that you are comfortable in sharing your story. Again, you may get questions from the audience. This may be an intriguing story, but we also see it as a personal testimony. Okay, so we have Robin and her daughter Charlotte, who's 33. Um, and first of all, let's start off by just warming up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself individually, your interests, what you like doing, a little bit about your career. We'll start with you, Mom. I'm gonna call you Mom for the night. Is that okay? I'm gonna
That's
call you
fine.
Mama Robin. But share with us a little bit about yourself, and why you're here on this evening.
All right. I am a mother of 5 children, all graduated high school. Yay! That's my biggest accomplishment, I feel.
Yes.
Um, I am in the trucking industry right now. I'm actually in my truck as we speak, trying to like tidy it up a little bit. Um, um, we're here to share our story about what we went through, not just me as a parent, but as my daughter as well.
Yeah.
What she went through as well, with being a runaway, how it impacted me, and how it impacted her. I just feel like my thing says, it's two sides to a story.
Yeah.
Parents have their side, and then the child has their side. And a lot of times, a lot of children are not being heard.
Yeah.
And I think that it's time for them to start being heard. Not saying that, running away is the option, is
Yeah.
the best option, but I think that when my daughter did the things that she did, it opened up my eyes to a lot of things. I changed a lot. We grew a lot. I grew a lot
Yeah.
as a parent, and then we grew a lot together as mother and daughter to even be able to come here today and share our story. So.
That's good. That's good. I like that you said that we don't always allow the child to have a voice. But Charlotte, you are not a child, so let's get that clear. You got a baby face, okay? So we want to make it clear for the whole audience. Charlotte is not a baby. She's a
No.
full-grown 33-year-old woman with a baby face, and beautiful dreads. But share a little bit about yourself as we open up in this conversation. Like, who are you as a person? What do you like to do? And why you're here on this evening.
So right now I'm driving truck as well. I got my
Oh,
CDL.
we got black
Um,
women in the truck. Y'all get that money. Get that money.
so I'm local right now, but I do plan on going over the road
Yeah,
and eventually starting a trucking company. So you
awesome.
know that's my goals. That's what I plan on doing. And the things that I like to do, I like to hang out with my family.
Yeah.
I'm finna get married next year.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Good.
So I just feel like God is really working in my life right now,
Yeah,
and he's really opening up a lot of doors for me, and he's really watching over me because like I'm not doing none of this on my own. It's like
yeah,
it's not possible. Like I wouldn't be sitting right here right now if it wasn't for him. So
yeah.
yeah, that's I would call myself an entrepreneur because that's what I'm not working for, the company. I'm working towards getting my own. So yeah.
Good. Absolutely. I love to hear that. I love to hear
Mhm.
that. So let's start the conversation with you, Charlotte, because you were how old when you ran away from home? At what age were you?
I would say I was about 12 years old, about seventh grade.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You were seventh grade.
Yep.
And what was home life like for you? Like what are some of the things that you felt that made you made the decision to run away from home?
Home life for me, like it wasn't horrible. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It was like my mom was married. My stepfather, he was in my life.
Yeah.
Since I was 3 months old. So my father was absent. You know, for the a lot of my younger years.
Yeah.
He was incarcerated at that time as well.
Mhm.
Um, I was a happy kid. I was sassy. I was taken care
Uh-huh.
of. I didn't want for anything or
Yeah.
anything like that. I was taken care of.
You was
It's just as I became, older,
Mhm.
and trying to find myself,
Yeah.
I I decided, that I liked the women, and
Mhm.
that I've been a tomboy my whole life. I played
Yeah.
basketball my whole life. I
Yeah.
played with the boys, and Wanted to be, like the boys running around playing, stuff like that. And then, one day I just made the decision that that's what I wanted. That's who I was. And
Yeah.
from that point on, I feel like that's when the issues started to arise as far as me running away and things like that. So
Yeah. So you felt that struggle. You said you were seventh or eighth grade, so about 12, 13, and you
hmm
felt that struggle internally.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did feel it internally because it felt so right. It felt
Yeah.
like it felt so natural. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It felt like it was me.
Yeah.
So it's like when I came out to my mother, so she was like the last person I came out to. She was the last, and when she found out, I don't know when she found out, but to my knowledge, when she found out, it was because so like I said, everybody knew. Like when I came out, I came out right away, and
Uh-huh.
everybody at school knew, everybody around me knew, but my mother. And then she finally found out. I think it was one time she was like, I was on the phone and she was like, "Hey, get off the phone." And I'm like, "I don't want to get off the phone." And she was like, uh, come up. She wanted to talk to me about something. So she asked me like, do you like girls? And then I was like, "No, I don't like girls, And
Uh-huh.
so she was like, "Well, you ain't getting back on the phone until you tell me the truth." And at that age, I wanted to be on the phone. So I'm like, what, forget
Yeah, she done took the
that.
phone away from you.
Yeah, at that time, I'm like, okay, I want to be on the phone. I'm gonna just tell her. So I was just like, yeah. I don't know if she remembered that or recalls that, but that was my recollection of how it all began. Well, when
Yeah,
I
because
came out,
mamas know. You knew mama, right? Did you
she
see the
did.
struggle with
She
I
Charlotte?
did.
didn't.
You didn't know.
I
Okay.
did not know. I didn't know because I worked a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I wasn't working, I worked like two, three jobs at a time sometimes. And then being active in school activities with them as well. Like most of my jobs, I work night shift so that I could
Mm-hmm.
be, during the day, I could be at whatever activity they have going on at school. So, and then in between that time, I would sleep, trying to rest in order to go to work the next day and do it all over again. So, yeah, I was the last person to know. And I found out from a letter that Charlotte
Oh,
had wrote to a girl,
okay.
I
and that's
didn't
how
know.
I found out. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I asked her about it, and of course, she didn't tell the truth because it was. And I understand in the moment why she didn't tell the truth because it was a shock to
Yeah.
her that for me to even come to her and ask her.
Yeah. And then we're talking about 20 years ago, right? So
Yeah,
Mhm.
where we're more open and more accepting, 20 years it was probably still it was a little different, right?
yeah,
As a child, you're feeling these emotions and things that you're feeling. And imagine it was a little fearful just because of the world we lived in. So I feel like 20 years ago was much different than now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In
it,
terms of
it was
acceptance.
it was it was much different. However, like I never felt no like lashback from nobody else
Good. Yeah.
but
Good.
my mom. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even necessarily lashback or
Mhm.
anything like that. It was just like judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get that from nobody else. I mean,
Okay.
obviously it probably was other people that I didn't feel it. I didn't, feel it, but
Right.
when it came to her, it was just like it was either you do what I say or that's it, So them the only options that I had. So I'm like, it's like I'm trapped. Like I don't have nowhere else to run now because I can't even be like my natural self. I felt like at home. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like if I can't be my natural self at home, there's nowhere else for me to run. So I just left. And
And so that's ultimately what made you felt the judgment in the home. And when you left, where did you go? Like what were you thinking, feeling? Where did you decide to go when you left?
wherever I could, like
With friends?
with friends, with girlfriends at the time, friends from school, anywhere I could, basically.
So you
So
would stay a little bit with a friend
a
here,
little bit
maybe with
here, a
a
little bit
girlfriend.
there, sneaking in and out, um, stuff like that. Like friends, some friends that moms was cool,
Yeah.
they wasn't really tripping like that, so I could crash for a little while, or stuff like that. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
how long did you run away? Like how long were you gone from home?
I would be gone that week for weeks at a time.
Mm.
I would
With
be gone
no
for weeks.
contact with mom?
She would. I would see her when she would like come to my school sometimes, or pop up wherever I was sometimes, or something like that. But most of the times when I was gone, we really didn't talk that much.
So even though you left home, you still managed to, wherever you were staying for the moment, you still managed to go to school during the day
Yeah,
or during the school year?
yeah. I
Okay.
went to school.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to school because I mean that's the only really place I really had to go that I
Yeah.
for sure knew I could be here.
Mm-hmm.
Without hiding or um having to be gone when my friends left or whatever the situation was.
Yeah.
That's a place I knew for sure that I could go there and I was supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
It was a
wouldn't be a
safe
problem. I
space.
can get some food there. I can, whatever. Yeah. So
Lunch.
yeah, right. Right.
So Mama, talk to me about the very first day when Charlotte left, she was gone. What were your emotions? What were you thinking at that time? How were you feeling?
I honestly suppressed that. I do not even remember the very first time she ran away. I don't remember the very first time she left. Um, I do know that I'm sure that I felt scared. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know why she was gone. I didn't know where she was. I didn't know if she was okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that I felt those feelings, but I can't, like the very first time, I can't even, I don't even know. I suppressed it. It was that traumatic for me.
I don't even
Did
think
you
I remember.
react? Did you reach out to police? Did you know that perhaps she probably went to stay with friends or a girlfriend or
So I don't know. I don't know if I realized. I think maybe one of the kids may have told me that she ran away. Um, and then when you go to make a police report, they got to be gone for 24 hours before you can even make the report.
yeah,
So I was doing that. Had to wait 24 hours to make the report. And then, in 24 hours, a lot
a
to happen.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So from a mother's perspective, I can only imagine like what's going on through your head about your baby, right? Like,
Yeah. It
and
was,
then you got a whole 24 hours. Like you said, a lot can happen. Like, what was your thought process?
um, I wanted to know why. Once I realized and was told that she had actually ran away, um, I wanted to know why. Like, I felt like I was doing the best that I could do as a parent with providing a roof over her head, food. Like, I didn't understand, like, why? You
Mm-hmm.
have everything. You got freedom. You got your phone. Like she said, she was well taken care of. My children were well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I can look back on now and say the only thing they lacked was time with me.
Yeah, because like so many mothers,
Yep.
working mothers, 2, 3 jobs, taking care, trying to maintain the household,
Yeah.
and
And
yeah,
then I didn't know. I became a parent at the age of 15.
yeah,
So I didn't know, um, like that it was important, to take them to the movies, to take them, different places. We did do family events, but it was a family as a whole with my ex husband, with his family. We all went
hmm,
on family trips every year. But to have that one on one time with just me, I didn't learn that till later on.
yeah. Did you blame yourself at any point? And or go through any of those that guilty emotions that sometimes pop up?
I don't think I did. Not in the
Okay.
beginning. When I look back
No.
now, I always say, I could have did more. But in the beginning, no, just like she said, I felt like I'm the mama, you the child, you not being abused, you not, you got everything, you wearing Jordans, you got everything, you got a phone, so no, I didn't.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. Now, yeah, you smirked Charlotte when she said that. She was like,
No, that's true. That's
your
it.
mom.
That's it. That's all. Like,
Yeah.
there's no in between. Like,
So so you're staying with friends, you are going to school every
mhm,
day, which was
mhm.
a good thing. What was those emotions for you? Like, what were you feeling on any given night, being out there, being away from home?
I wanted to be at home, to be honest. I
Yeah.
wanted to be in my warm bed and go in my refrigerator that I know that I can go to anytime I want. I don't gotta ask my friend, hey, can you go give me something to eat, or can you whatever, or like do what I can for money. At one point I was like panhandling and like standing outside of the gas station asking for change, stuff like that. Or I
Wow.
would call my grandmother and ask her, and like these are all things that I did that I didn't have to do. Like that's how passionate I was about how I felt,
Yeah.
about
And so
my.
you were 13 and like panhandling in front of the gas station, or were you a little
Younger
bit
than that, I
older?
was like 12,
Oh
13.
wow.
Like,
Wow.
yeah, like asking people at school, like, hey, can I get $1? Can I get $1? Like stuff like that.
Did you
So
did
because
you
I
feel
couldn't work,
embarrassed?
I was young. I couldn't. It's not like I could go get a job and provide for
Right.
myself. So I just had to do what I had to do. And
Right.
I through the grace of God, I don't feel like I ever been in no like super dangerous situations.
Good, because that was gonna be my next question. Like how, like standing out there. Listen, if you from I'm from, sometimes those gas stations can be pretty dangerous.
Mhm.
And a lot happens at some of the local gas stations around us. So it's truly the grace of God that you didn't experience or see anything, that could have brought you harm.
Mhm.
She
It is.
actually did.
What's that?
She did. The
What's
one house
wrong?
you was when the house got shot up and you was in it.
I don't even remember that.
You don't remember? I figured you didn't remember. Yeah, yeah,
House
Wow.
got shot up while I was in it. I would think I would remember that.
yeah. No. Um, her friends used to call me and tell me where she was.
My
Every
friend told you that. If that's the news you got from a friend, you probably might want to erase that. Because
no,
I'm telling
no.
you right now,
They her
if
friends.
something like that happened, I remember that.
You finna remember it. When her friends used to call me all the time. Whenever Charlotte was running away, they would call me maybe a day or two later or whatever and tell me where she was. So one
Mhm.
time they called me and told me they gave me the address to wherever the house was that she was. So I go to the address and I'm looking at this house and it's boarded up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and because I didn't go that night, they called me that night and told me where she was, and I was like, oh, I'll go get her in the morning. So the morning come, I go to the house. The house is boarded up. And I'm like, I called them like, y'all sure this the address? Because this house is boarded up. They was like, yeah, that's the house. That's the address or whatever. So I go and I knock on the door. And sure enough, you were in there. You don't remember that? Somebody shot the house up that night and you was under the bed because you was so scared. You know, yep, yeah. That actually happened.
Wow. Okay. So, wow. What was that like for you, Mama? Like going to, like, because
So
this is your baby.
when I got to the house and I'm just thinking like this, when I realized that it was actually people that was living in the house, I asked like, what's going on? Like what's going on here? Chalet told me that the house. You the one who told me that the house had got shot up.
You talking about on 35th?
I don't remember.
Talking about on Hampton, Lynette and
I
them
don't.
all?
I don't remember where it was. But later on, when we talked about it, you was like, "Oh my!" You was like, "I was so scared. I was hiding under the bed." You said that whoever was shot up the house, they actually came in the house. Nobody
Oh,
got shot.
I know
Nobody.
you're talking about nobody got
Yeah,
nah.
no one was.
I
No
think
one
I know
was
what you're talking
injured.
about, but I remember something like that happening where somebody came in
Yeah,
and like bust all the windows, but it wasn't no shooting.
yeah. Well,
Somebody
I
bust
think.
all the windows. I remember what you're talking about now.
Okay.
But it was a situation that could have been harmful for
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah, and I was used to stuff like that. I'm just like whatever. I don't even remember. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I actually thought that situation would have made her stop, but it
Are
didn't.
there some things that you kind of because you said I'm used to that. So are there some experiences that you've had, whether when you were running away, that you just kind of block out for whatever reason, or it was a
I'm sure.
traumatic experience for you?
hmm I'm
Yeah.
sure I did. I'm
Yeah.
sure I did. It was times that I was like staying at people's house. I didn't even know. Like I just was going home with them. Like and they was just I just met them that night and we started talking and we was cool. They was with the LBGT community and whatever, you know, and like anybody could have been staying there,
Yeah.
for all I
So
knew.
how long were you out there? How long were you gone away from home?
So I was away from home on and off. I was about 15 or 16, 16.
Okay. Okay.
I would say.
And during that time you continued to go to school, right?
hmm
During that time, was there any drugs or alcohol? Did you develop any of those kind of
Yeah, I
habits?
was smoking a lot of marijuana. I started smoking
Yeah.
marijuana real heavy.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I wasn't really into alcohol or anything like that. So just
Yeah.
marijuana.
So for 3 years, friends, life experiences. Did you have some dark days?
You
Like
said I have some dark days.
dark days where you wanted to pick up the phone and call mom and say, "Mama, can I come home?"
I mean, yeah, I had days like that. I mean, I just came home. I knew I could come home.
Okay.
At any given time, like no matter
Okay.
what
So
time
you
it
were
was.
back and forth. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I always knew I could come home. I wanted to be home. That's the thing. I wanted to be home. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I just felt like I could not be myself at home. So
Yeah.
I would have rather do all of that stuff than to be at home. You know?
So was
And
there contention between you and mom? I know you said you felt judged. You would come home, you would leave, you would come home, you would
I
leave.
mean, I was rebelling at that
Rebellion.
point. It was
Okay.
just like I was rebellious. Like I was so mad at her that I was just like doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. I'm just she won't listen to me, so I'm
Mhm.
just gonna do this to get her attention.
Right.
Or,
Go do my thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was rebellion. I was rebelling, but like I said, like I had a pretty good life.
Mhm.
I wasn't starving. Like I didn't have men in and out the house.
Yeah.
I didn't have you know no nothing horrible happening to me at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Home was a safe place for me.
Good. I'm so glad you said that because so many, and I think like this Ja'Niyah McMichael case, there's talks of abuse in the home and molestation and so on and so forth. So many youth run away because they are experiencing some of those things in the home, and
Mhm.
that was not your experience. I mean, you're
No.
owning it. You're saying
Mhm.
I was just
Yeah,
rebellious.
and I say, and like now that I think about it now, it was just like some of it was me just wanting to be grown, Too,
Want to be
I can
grown.
admit that. I can be
Yeah,
honest and say, hey, some of it was me just wanting to be grown. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But the initial thing that made me actually put some action behind going outside of the house and trying to, at 12 years old, go, you know what I'm saying, live outside by myself, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I think that once she got a after the initial running away, once she got a taste of freedom,
Mm-hmm.
I can come and go as I please.
Yeah.
I can do what I want to do. And then she, like she said, she knew she could come home whenever she wanted to or whatever. So once she got a taste of that freedom, then the running away pretty much was the freedom part
The
of it.
freedom. Yeah. Because mama had rules, mama
Hmm.
had structure,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you had gotten accustomed to just being
But
out
I want
there.
to say this. I want to say this.
Uh,
If it's anybody that's watching right now or listening
Yeah.
to right now, and they have a child that is struggling with their sexuality, I
Yeah.
know what the world is saying. I know what the Bible is saying. I know all of this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Love that child, like
Yeah.
regardless. Like
Yeah.
that is yours. You know what I'm saying? That's not the world's. That's your child. You know what I'm saying? So support your child. You know what I'm saying? It. I understand that at 11 years old and 12 years old, that is a time for you to start identifying yourself and
Mm-hmm.
get like becoming a sexual being. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not saying that that is okay or whatever to be at that age, but I'm saying that's when you are starting to wonder. You're starting to
Coming to
um
your sexuality.
exactly. You come
Yeah.
into your sexuality, you know,
Yeah.
and if your child is telling you that this is what they feeling, even if it might just be a phase. It might just be, you know, whatever. I'm not saying go and allow your child to have a girlfriend and have sex or whatever the situation. I'm just saying like allow your child to express themselves in that way
Yeah.
because that's yours. You know what I'm saying? I always
Mhm.
felt like my mom was like ashamed of me and stuff. You know, but I'm gonna tell you now, my mom, she loved me. Like, ain't nothing I
Yeah.
can do, ain't nothing I can say that make her love me less. You know what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
loved me wholeheartedly. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? But that is just my advice that I would give to somebody. And like it's more um accepted with like women and stuff these days and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. But I
Yeah.
know it's little boys out there too, you know, that's
It's
feeling this.
harder on
So
black men,
I would
younger
say
men.
they might be going through a phase. They might just be going through something, but like love on your child and let them express themselves. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In that if that's how they feel. A feeling is just a feeling. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make it set in stone. You
True.
know, talk to your
Because
child, tell them how you feel about the situation, and still let them express themselves. Because if you don't, it, it's not gonna end well. Like let
yeah.
hear them out, understand where they coming from. Why is they feeling this? You
Yeah.
know, things like that, and then you will be better understand where they coming from. You know, with it, the world today is looking at homosexuality is just the worst thing in the world. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's worse things out here, like people, killing each other, raping, and this, that, and the other. Like, okay, I just did 10 years in prison. Like, I got out. I'm doing great right now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I got 2 jobs. I'm with my fiance. That she loves me. I love her. That's all that matters. We love each other. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's it. Like, we not out here cheating on each other. We not out here, you know, you know, doing all this weird stuff. We're just like normal people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're just like normal people. We beings. That's it. Nobody is perfect. You know what I'm saying? It is not. I don't feel like somebody should be shunned upon because of their sexuality. Like that's not harming nobody. That's not killing nobody. None of it.
Right.
Like I know what the Bible says. I'm a spiritual person. Like my mother is, you know what I'm saying? She kept me in the word. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I understand all that, but I still feel like love is love. That's just me. And I'm
Yeah.
just giving somebody can take what they want from out of what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is let your children express themselves,
Let your children.
try to understand them, where they coming from, if they come to you with something like that. Don't be the person that don't be the last person that they tell. Want to be the first person that they tell something like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mom, did you struggle with it a bit? And
I,
when
I struggled very much so with it.
yeah.
I was, I want to say I had just started, like, I had just gave my life to Christ for real this time. You know, we go through it a
Mhm.
lot of times. And I never talked bad about her. I never, like, beat her up or said anything negative to her about it. I shut down.
Yeah.
Found out, I shut down. And that was the thing, and then I was like, well, what about counseling? And she like, counseling that's not gonna change me, you know.
Yeah.
So the fact that I shut down because I didn't know what to do, I
Right.
didn't want to bash her. I didn't want her to feel the way that she felt, even though she ended up feeling it anyway. Um, but that's because I shut down. I have learned to, like she said, I love her,
Yes.
um, because that's my daughter. As an individual, I love her partner because as an individual, I still feel the way that I feel, but I love them.
Yeah.
I show them love,
Yeah.
and
So
nothing else matters.
yeah. So we both respect each other. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
and that's where we at, and we love each other, we respect each other, and we got a great relationship
That's
together.
good. That's good. So I wanna switch to that because we know that you struggled. That's what forced you to leave home. You stayed with friends. You still continue to go to school, which is wonderful because a lot of children that leave home they don't continue to do that. You said you liked your freedom. You said you rebelled.
Yeah, I
Mom, you said
also
you struggled, with accepting her sexuality. But what was it that brought you guys back together? I imagine I know it was love, but what was that conversation? Because that's your mama, you love your mama. That's your daughter, you love your daughter. You die for your kids. What was that conversation that brought you guys back together? That was the catalyst for helping you to repair your relationship. What was that conversation like?
I would say it was just me and her. Like as I got older, it was just like I wasn't like fearful of her because she was my mom. I used to be terrified of her. Like she my mom. Like I ain't telling her
I'm gonna
that.
lay down the
You
law,
know what
don't
I'm saying? Like I used to be lying my butt off. Like did you do that? No, I ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I became more of a adult and became more susceptible to like opening up to her and being more truthful with her.
Yeah,
And I feel like that did it for me because I no longer
yeah,
wanted to like hide things from her, like because I'm an adult now, so it's like now as an adult you could tell your parents stuff that you couldn't tell them when you was a kid or when you
yeah.
was an adult,
Yeah.
so.
Did it take a while to get that? I know you came back when you were like into the home about 16 to 17, but did you guys still struggle with your relationship even though you were back in the home under the protection of your mom?
No, I don't feel like
No.
we did because at that point it
Yeah.
was like so the whole thing that really was the like the thing that made me run away the most is because like I wanted to dress a certain way. I wanted to dress in boy clothes.
Okay.
I wanted to wear boy clothes and
Okay.
things like that, and she wouldn't allow that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She would come up to my school, embarrass me. I was in middle school. She would come up to my school with the girl clothes, hand her hand, like, here you go, chain, go to the bathroom in front of everybody in the lunchroom. And I'm like, what the, it was embarrassing,
Yeah.
so it's that like, and she would like ride on the bus stop and make sure I had on girl clothes, like make like seriously, like all over it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
sometimes I would get on a school bus and like change into boy clothes, or I would like steal boy clothes from the store. Like I remember one time, like my grandmother, she gave me some money to buy me some clothes, and I went and bought boy clothes, and my mom, she went and got the clothes and threw them away. So I just started stealing them. Like start going into the stores and stealing them. And that's when I start getting into trouble with the police and things like that. And um so yeah, that was the main issue. Not even the sexuality part as well, but expressing it. You know what I'm saying? Like in the way that I
being able to express it.
Exactly. And that was like a major factor. That was a major factor.
Yeah.
And, so yeah. I don't really
so you came back home, you repairing your relationship.
Oh, yeah.
But I did hear you mention that you did do some time away, 10 years. Mm-hmm. Was that in connection to your youth and some of the things you experienced when you were out and about away from home?
Yeah, probably, because I started, doing street stuff, selling drugs and stealing and robbing and like just, I mean, at this point, that's the stuff that I had to do to get what I want. So at that point, as I got older, it was like, this is just what I knew. You know what I'm saying? So now this is just who I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it just went from there. But I will say I had got locked up one time, and I was 16 actually, and I was in juvie for 2 weeks, I believe it was, and I was like, oh no, I can't do this. So I straightened up. I straightened up. I started going to school, getting on the honor roll, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want that. But then just somewhere, I don't feel like at that point it wasn't the running. It could have possibly been the running away, but
yeah,
I was an adult. I was an adult when I got locked up. So
yeah. What are you gonna say, Mom?
I'm gonna say, as far as like when she finally came home, our relationship, it was like she just came home and everything just went back to normal. As far as, we didn't really talk much about it. It was, I just, because at that moment, at that time, I still didn't know. I couldn't separate, this is wrong, but that's my daughter, but this is wrong. I still wasn't able to separate that. So we didn't talk much about it. We started repairing our relationship actually when she went to prison for those 10 years.
Wow.
During the visits, we would talk about it, and she pretty much tried to force it on me, and I'm just like, you're not gonna force this on me. But through a lot of prayer, because I'm like, Lord, this is, your word says that this is not right. But then it's like, I also say, it's not your job to judge. The Lord, God loves the sinner, hates the sin.
Right.
And that's how you
any of our sins. Yeah.
Right. And that's how you, so when he when he taught me or showed me how to separate it, love her.
Yeah.
But don't mean that you have to love that. But it's my commandment that you love my people. So once I was able to get that down packed, then we were able to start repairing our relationship. The prison came from all the years of being in trouble with the police.
Yeah.
And then when she turned, so she was a minor, so they didn't really do much. Tap on the shoulder, send her home or whatever. But as soon as she turned 18, 19 and committed a crime, that was that 10, they gave her 10 years.
Yeah.
A crime that she should not have gotten 10 years for. People that kill people don't even get 10 years.
Yeah. Was it a drug selling related?
Robbing.
Okay.
She robbed something. Yeah, it's robbing.
Yeah.
How you want everybody to know? No, I'm just
it's your story, but you overcame it, right? And
so I'm open about it.
Y'all repaired y'all relationship. What were the lessons, Mom? I know you said her 10 years brought y'all closer. What were the lessons you learned, or you got older, you've had a lot of time to reflect. while
Mhm.
you doing your 10 years? What were some of the things that you just kind of learned? Because it's a growth opportunity, right? Sometimes our
Yes.
trials and tribulations, that's what grow us the best. I can tell you the stuff that I've been through, the hard moments of life is what grew me the most. So what were
Mhm.
some of those things that just kind of, you learned as a result, thinking over your past, the struggle with being open with your sexuality and coming to acceptance? What are some of the things that you took away from that experience, those two experiences?
So for me, I learned to listen.
Listen.
I
Yeah.
learned to listen. I learned to allow my children to express themselves, even in the face of adversary, because a lot of time, like, I let my kids tell me how they feel. If I say something or do something, I ask them to do something, or I say something to them and they don't like it, I allow them to express that respectfully.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, like, you let your kid talk back to you, and no, she's not talking back. She's just expressing how she feels, or they feel, because I had a son too, how
Yeah.
they feel about what I said and what I did, and then we have a conversation about it. But at the end of the day, I'm still mama,
Yeah.
and my job is to protect you. So sometimes they had their way because they made a great argument, and then sometimes it's like, well, nah, that's just not a good thing. You're a child. You thinking in a child's mind. An adult. I'm your parent, and I'm thinking safety down the line.
Right.
So
Future.
sometimes they did get their way, and a lot of times they didn't. Um. So yeah, that's pretty much what I learned from
Yeah.
the whole experience, and then to spend more time with my kids.
Spend more time.
Spend more
Yeah.
time. So during the time that Charlotte was running away, it was three. I had three children in the home, um, and um, then later, I had two more, but they were younger during the time that she was doing a lot of things that she was doing. And my parenting, I want to say my parenting changed, whereas the last two, I've been to the movies with them. I go to the zoo. I've taken them, we went to Paris. I've just done a lot of more things with them than I did with the first three.
Yeah.
So I did learn that, yeah. And I learned that from my mom, to be, headstrong, to take care of your house no matter what. Don't
Yeah.
matter if it's a two-parent household, because it was a two-parent household. But just to take care of my business, work, pay bills. I
Yeah.
learned from my experience with Charlotte that it was more to life than working and paying bills, especially when you got
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when it comes to spending that quality time
that
with the
quality
kids.
time.
Yeah.
And I learned
Yeah.
off from Facebook how to spend the quality time with my kids. I would see my friends yeah, we went to the movies. Oh, I took my kids to the zoo. And I was like, dang, I never thought to do none of that kind of stuff. And so I
Yeah.
would get on it and see what everybody else was doing, and then I do it. And
Yeah.
that's how I learned. I was pretty
Yeah.
much self-taught.
So, what about you, Charlotte? What were some of the things that just kind of the growth moments for you, learning moments for you during the experience?
That my mom, she didn't have no like ill intentions.
Yeah.
I learned to see her as a person, as an individual, not just my mother. You know what I'm
That's
saying? That
big.
she is her own person that went through her own things in life,
Hmm.
before I was ever thought of.
Yeah.
And that she was a young mother, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't hold none of that against her. Like, I'm not bitter. I'm not.
Yeah.
I forgive her,
Yeah.
for any ill feelings that she, made me feel. I forgive her, and I understand that she was only trying to, help me and guide me in the right direction, and I respect that, and she did. Little does she know, or I'm
Yeah.
sure she do know, and if she didn't, and I'm telling her now, she did help me a lot. That she didn't give up on me, and that she, stayed on me,
Yeah.
because I graduated, I was on honor
You
roll,
did.
On
things like
time.
that, and I
You know
yeah.
she was praying
Like,
for you. It's a power in a praying mama.
yeah,
She
and
was
here I am
looking out.
today, I've been out 4 years now, almost 4 years now, and here I am with my own apartment, my own car,
Yeah.
2 jobs.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. I'm blessed.
Entrepreneur, get married.
I'm still in my right mind. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like things like that. She really instilled that in me. Like in my whole 10 years. Like she
Good.
instilled a lot of things in me that caused me to survive in here.
Yeah. So even though you went through that experience there was, God on the other side, well, God all through it, but
All
just getting through the experience, you learn so much, you grow so much from it. And we could say we have regrets, but if we didn't go through it, if we didn't experience it, we wouldn't have come through or come to this point where you say, I realized some things that I needed to do different as a mom, or I realized, which I think is so big, because I even came to this own conclusion with my own mother, once I got older, is that my mom had her own experiences. Sometimes our parents have their own traumas that they're working through, or sometimes our parents only know what they know, right? Because they weren't taught different, and
yeah.
so you begin to look at your parents in a different light, right? And not holding things again. And I just think that get hopefully it gives a lot of weight off your shoulder and freedom when you come to understand some of those things.
Most definitely.
Anything y'all would do differently, you think?
I wouldn't do anything differently as far as for when Chalet, um, when she got sentenced to 10 years, I always um felt like because I chased her down every time. Like
Yeah.
I would catch her at school, and sometimes I wouldn't even go because I wanted her to go to school, and I know that if I show up at the school, then she's not gonna go for a couple of days or whatever. So sometimes, I wouldn't go, but
So it's nothing you would change, Mom?
well, I would I would try to hear you more in the beginning. In
Okay.
the beginning, I would try
Okay,
to.
Carly, that's a shot.
So
Yeah,
everything I just said,
wait, what?
ain't nothing
Yeah.
you would have changed.
But
Like
you know what?
really,
When she said that,
crazy.
that's not what dawned on me. What came to mind when she asked me when she said, "Well, if it's anything I would have changed," because a lot of times I question, running, chasing you, and I was like, I did all that chasing down, all that not giving up, all of that because for the main thing was I didn't want you to end up in jail or
Yeah.
dead, and
Yeah.
then you still ended up in prison. So when she asked the question, is there anything I would have changed? My first thought was, would have changed, you know, um, looking for you all the time, and I definitely wouldn't change that. If it happened all over again, I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
I
Because
would do
that's
it
what
all.
mother's love.
Yeah, it was some days I wanted to give up, but God wouldn't. He wouldn't let me. He
Yeah.
said you could take a rest, but you can't give up.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you gotta get up, put on
Yeah.
your clothes, and go out there and get her
Yeah.
or whatever.
But I
But
think you were honest in saying that I would have heard Charlotte more. I would have allowed her to express herself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have listened. I would have listened more, and I probably would have maybe prayed sooner to get the
Yeah.
answer from the Lord on how to handle that, because He definitely was the answer on how to separate the two.
Yeah.
To give her, it was. I felt like I didn't give her what she needed, and now I feel like I'm giving her what she needed. Then, you know, and I wish that I would have done it then versus now, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're where we're at now.
Good. Anything for you, Charlotte? Anything you and we've been going this whole conversation. Are we saying your pronouns correctly? I want to be respectful.
Yes.
You go by her. Okay.
Mhm.
Anything you would do differently? You think
As far as what?
through the whole experience? Anything
Oh,
you?
anything I would do
Yeah.
differently?
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know. Because to be 12 years old, it's like
Mhm.
your mind not even fully developed at that age. So it's like
Right.
you're not even mature enough. You know what I'm saying? You probably
Yeah.
think you are, but you're really not. But I mean, I guess I could have. Um, I don't know. That's a good question.
Good question. Some
Let me think about that, and maybe we can. I can run. We can run that back
yeah.
because
Yeah, I do
that's
want
something
to give an
that's something I
opportunity.
really deeply need to. It should think about. You know.
Yeah. I do want to give our audience, if anyone has a question they want to pose for Mom or Charlotte, feel free to put your thoughts or express your thoughts in the chat or ask a question in the chat. We do want to give you an opportunity before we close out. If you have any quick questions, brief comments that you want to share. Um, I want to make sure that we got about 15 minutes, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. But um, I asked anything that you would do differently. And Charlotte, you in the beginning, you started out very good, and you shared some lessons for parents who are maybe struggling with recognizing, acknowledging, or allowing their child to express themselves, their sexual expression at that age. What other lessons would you share, or what advice would you share with either parents, children who are thinking about running away, children who maybe going through what you experienced, just trying to find themselves and understand what they're feeling, their emotions? What other advice would you give those children?
Um. So I feel like my situation was a little different because like some kids, they probably is going through or probably are going through sexual abuse or something like that or like abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse,
Mm-hmm.
uh, whatever it is that they could be possibly going through, you know. But as far as myself, what I would say to a person, that's a child that's thinking about running away, I would tell them to, reach out to somebody that they trust. Talk to somebody that they trust, that they know that they can trust, whether it be a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
law enforcement, sibling, grandparent, somebody like that. Talk to them and tell them how they feeling before they make the decision to run away. Reach out to somebody that's I would say older or
Yeah,
that they feel like they can go to safely.
yeah. A trusted
To
adult.
talk
Yeah,
to talk about it before
yeah.
they make a move like that because it's not safe out here. I was really young and some bad things could have happened to me, like really bad things. I was blessed that, nothing, too traumatic ever did happen to me, but it's a lot going on out here and
Yeah.
it's the streets is nowhere for a child for
It's
sure.
definitely scary out here. Like we said, that the sex trafficking numbers
Mhm.
are way up. Northwest Indiana, Gary area. I feel like there's a young lady or woman is harmed every day. We're seeing evidence of it in the news. So the streets are definitely not safe out there. So I like that, telling a trusted adult. I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Mhm.
What about you, Mom? What advice would you share from a parent's perspective? Um,
Um, listen.
mhm.
um, like Charlotte said, she didn't feel like she had a safe space to be herself. Um, we want to be that safe space. I always
Yeah.
wanted to be that safe space, and I always thought that I was, um,
Mhm.
but I wasn't. I lacked a little bit. Um, Never let your child spend a lot of time alone in their room. Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because that's where all the thinking and planning and things of that nature take place. Um, Watch, always be watchful. Know your kid. You
Yeah.
know when they happy. Know when they sad. Know, you know, be able to tell when there's something going on with them that they're not speaking on.
Yeah.
I missed that because I was in the house, but I wasn't present.
Yeah.
So you have to be present, not just in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
So,
good.
but
Good
one
perspective.
thing I want to say, um, well, I want to ask Charlotte, maybe the question, what would you have done different? I
Mm-hmm.
think that maybe if you would have came and talked to me about how you was feeling in the like you should have. I felt like maybe if you would have came and expressed to me, "Hey, mom, these are the feelings that I'm feeling," and then we would have talked about it versus me reading a letter and finding out that way. Because
Yeah.
then I had time to make my own decisions on how I was going to deal with it versus sharing, a conversation with you. I think that maybe that probably would have helped a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I
Had you,
think
in the course of you guys' healing, did you guys ever do therapy together or as a family to help you to get on the other side of,
No.
yeah,
no, no.
No. We each other therapy.
yeah,
For sure.
Because Chalet is she has always been um speak whatever's on her mind.
uh-huh,
She she has always, even from a little girl, she has always been that, and I've always allowed her to be that because I want to know, you know.
mm-hmm,
Um, and when we talk about it, from the time we started healing, even now we still do talk about it.
mm-hmm,
She'll be like, "Come on, ma, now you know you was tripping,"
mm-hmm,
as long as yeah, and as long as she talked to me respectfully, and not only do I require respect, but I give it as well,
yeah,
you know. So we can laugh and still have those intimate moments that um she when she can open up to me and just tell me anything, and I can tell her how I felt about it, and I'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that's just how I felt. I feel differently now, but
yeah.
and those are the conversations that we have with each other.
Good. I mean, you guys, I mean, it's evident that there is a closeness there. There's an openness there with your relationship. And I'm happy that you guys were able to get to a place where, mom, you said you shut down. There probably was some shutting down on your end, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are in this space now where you're having those conversations. You have a different respect and appreciation for each other, and that's
Mm-hmm.
good. That's God's doing. That's God in the midst of that, and healing the relationship. And I thank God, and I know your mama do every day, that even though you rebelled, you left home, that no harm came,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a mother's worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
One of her worst nightmares when it comes to her children child being her, because you're gonna always be her baby.
right.
You wrong. You're gonna always be her baby. So I'm just glad that you guys have gotten to this place of maturity and healing and just restoring your relationship with one another. That's a good thing.
So
Yeah.
I wanna add something. So um I just want to say, for anybody that's watching this, like any teenagers or young adults, whatever the case may be, um, to appreciate your parents, no matter what, respect them. You know what I'm saying? Um, no matter what, respect your parents.
Yeah.
You know, that's just what it is. Especially a parent that you know really loves you, and that you know loves you, and
Yeah.
you know, because it's like they only want the best for you. That's
Yeah.
it. They might not, you know, you might not get your way with everything, but just know that in the end, you know, everything will be okay. Like they
Yeah.
just want the best for you. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, so just respect your parents, love your parents, you know, accept
Yeah.
their guidance, because that's what parents is there for. You know, if I
Yeah.
would have better listened to my parents' guidance, I'd be in a better place, you know. And
You're in a good place though,
You're
right?
in
yeah, I am in a good place,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been in a much better place, you know, because you know, the 10 years is a lot of time taken away from me. You know, it shouldn't have took that. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to take that. You know, because I feel like you know, I was in college and everything before I got locked up. You know, I was working. I had my own place. You know, I did end up losing my place and things like that, moving back home. But I was pretty, you know, independent a little bit before I got locked up, and you know, I was in college and stuff, like I said, and
Yeah.
you know, you know, take that guidance, take that wisdom, you know, learn as much as you can from your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like learn as
Yeah.
much as you can from them. You know, take that guidance, take that wisdom and that
Yeah.
love, because they
Yeah.
only want the best for you. That's it. So
Yeah, I love that. There's some spiritual principle behind that. And I know, Mom, you're gonna like this, but the Bible does tell us to honor your mother and your father so that your
mhm,
days will be long. And as long
mhm,
as you respect and love on and honor your parents, your days will be. You know, God's word is not slack. His principles work today, and so I love that you said take that guidance. They only want the best for you as parents. I'm not a biological parent. I do have stepchildren. You know, so I don't call them stepchildren. They're my children in love. But I can safely say I can speak for any parent that we don't always get it right. We're not perfect.
right.
We've had our own experiences, some mindsets and behaviors that we have to unlearn. You know, but we really do want the best for our children. um you know, so I again, Ebony says this was a beautiful testimony, and I agree, this was a beautiful
Thank you.
testimony. To God be the glory. I really thank y'all for sharing your story. Again, I wanted this to be a safe space. I love all of what you guys have shared. I appreciate. Charlotte, I really think you have a story to tell, and in more platforms and more spaces.
Mhm.
I feel like your
Yeah.
story, your testimony is powerful, and I pray that God provides you a platform to share it openly and more often.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the
because
goal.
you can help some people overcome. You can
Mhm.
help some people, some young folks navigate through their own personal
for
struggles.
sure, and that's all they need is
Yeah,
guidance. That's
yeah,
all the young people need. They just need the just guidance, just
yeah,
good guidance, good guidance,
Good
not
guys.
good guidance. They need that. That's what they need. They need some good guidance, you know, from somebody that's you know, somewhat like them or somewhat can relate to them, you
yes,
know, but at the same time, mature,
yeah,
um, uh, more even minded, more, you know,
yeah,
grounded. You know,
yeah,
that's all they need, because that's all, you know, that's all I wanted. That's all I
yeah,
wanted. You know, like
yes,
I said, my father was locked up, you know, at the time. So it's like my mother, I had my stepdad, which was, you know, he was a good stepdad, but you know, I that's what I needed. I needed that guidance. And I wasn't gonna hear it from somebody that wasn't my real father like that, you know? So
yeah,
it was just like I said,
yeah. There's
it was
probably a lot
a
going
lot
on at the time.
maturing to do, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
mhm.
And
But
it
you're
also,
here now. Go ahead, Mom. You was gonna
I
say?
was gonna say it's also always better when they always hear when it's from somebody else. When it's
Yeah,
when it's from the parent and when it's from them, oh, you just my mama, oh, that's just my daddy. They don't know, they old, they don't know,
Right.
Yeah.
But when they hear from somebody else who is of the same age, or in that
Mhm.
age bracket, then they hear better for whatever
Yeah.
reason they do,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they be like, oh yeah, mom, you was right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They can identify with somebody, their peer, more than they would.
The
Yeah.
parent,
Yeah.
yeah, because we
For
parents
sure.
just don't understand.
Oh, it's so true. Like, you don't even know that song, do you? That was before your
Uh,
time. That's me and your mama's era. Parents
no,
just don't understand.
parents just don't understand. Yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank you both for being my guests on today and sharing her story, a story of healing, empowerment, and restoration and redemption. You both truly have a story from mom's perspective, from your perspective, Charlotte. I pray that again, I pray God continue to bless y'all, continue to heal y'all in your relationship. And I just want y'all to give them a hand in the chat. Please throw some hearts in the chat, throw up some kissy lips, give them some praying hands, give them some hand claps just to show them some love on this evening. Ebony says, I stand in agreement with you sharing your story, Charlotte. Nona says, amen. Y'all are getting some love. I see some loves, some folks hitting the love button for y'all. Again, very, very powerful story. I'm so thankful that so Shirley, I approached your mom first to ask would she be willing, because I saw your mom's testimony
Mhm.
that she shared surrounding, as all of the talk about Ja'Niyah McMichael came out. And I'm going to ask that my audience continue to pray for her. I know that there were searches going on and so on and so forth, but your mom shared her story, and a good friend of mine was like, you really should have her on to share her and her daughter's story. And so I am so glad that you guys kickstart my episode 41, season 3, October, of her story, and that you shared your story on today. I really thank y'all. I thank y'all for being here, and y'all
Well,
getting love.
Thank you
Karen
for
says,
having us.
great
yep.
job. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna throw y'all in the backstage, and y'all can hang on a minute. I'm gonna end this thing,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna put y'all backstage, and I'll be back with you guys momentarily. Oh, well, that was such a good story. Thank y'all. Kayla says, beautiful story. Thank y'all. Deja sends her Dejaya. I'm probably since the forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but I see I recognize the love. That was a beautiful story, a beautiful story. Listen, we have more stories like this for the month of October. Next week, we are going to talk with the young lady, her story, another story of healing, empowerment, and restoration. A young lady who I know I've become very familiar with. She's been on my platform before, and she's going to share her story of overcoming domestic violence, because again, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I hope that y'all come back for another Her Story on next Monday, same time at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Deja, you said it right the first. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like to get people's name right, people's name back. Well, Deja, I hope to see you again on next week. Please follow me on all social media platforms. You can follow me on Facebook, High Heels and Lipstick Conversation Podcast. You can also follow my She is Nemia page. You can follow that page. I am also on TikTok. I'm on YouTube, High Heels and Lipstick Conversation Podcast. I'm on anywhere you can find me on social media. I'm on all the social medias. And so I'm just going full force. I thank y'all for being here on this evening. Listen, don't forget, I got 2 books, and let me drop the link before we get away. Let me drop the link. I got 7 Lessons for Her, which was my project that I dropped on last year in 2023. It's all about healing, empowerment, and restoration. It is what inspired the stories for the month of October. So you can get that book on Amazon. You can also pick up Lipstick Affirmation, Words of Wisdom Every Grown Ass Woman Needs to Know. And I'm going to drop the link to both of those books on Amazon, or you could go to Amazon and you can search my name, Nemia Carnice. It's going to come up for you. The two books will come up for you if you you search my name at Amazon, or you can just, select the links that I'm dropping here and purchase it today. I would really, truly love your support. My goal is to become Amazon's bestseller. So that's the goal. That's a lofty goal for me. But if I could get y'all support, I would gladly appreciate it. 7 Lessons for Her and Lipstick Affirmations, Words of Wisdom Every Grown Ass Woman Should Know. All right. Get it? Got it. Good. Okay, so we're going to get on out of here. Listen, I like to, whenever I end, I like to always share, share some advice. And tonight, because I'm promoting Lipstick Affirmation, Words of Wisdom Every Grown Ass Woman Should Know, I'm just going to share a quick affirmation. I ain't going to share everything, but I am going to share affirmation from my book. And this affirmation, I'm going to be very brief, is the affirmation starts with, my path is laid, my destination is leading to my purpose. God is our GPS. So this affirmation says, and I'm just going to read a little excerpt, says, God is in control. Okay. I know you're an alpha female. I know you're used to running things. I know you can run it and everything and everybody around you with your eyes closed. But it takes tremendous belief in his reliability, his truth, and his abilities to allow God to control your life. We trust God in some areas, but we often struggle to trust him in others. We often believe that we can do it better and faster than God. To add insult to injury, we often compartmentalize how and in what areas we will allow God to control our lives, or for us to trust God. We may trust that God is a healer and capable of healing the sickness in our bodies, but we lose faith in his ability to provide us with a mate. This lack of trust can lead us down to Nowhere Ave or No Point of Return Street. So the key is that in order for God to be our GPS, we have to trust. Just like we trust those directions to get us from point A to B, we always got to make sure that we trust God to get us from point A to B. He has laid our path. The destination is laid out for us. All we got to do is follow the GPS. Thank y'all for joining me on this evening. Check back in with me next Monday. We have another her story Monday night at 7:30 p.m. I appreciate y'all. Smooches until I see y'all again. Thank you for joining She is Nemia tonight for another edition of High Heels and Lipstick Conversations. We hope you have enjoyed the dialogue. If you like what you've heard tonight, please press the like or love button. The share button is free too, y'all. You can follow She is Nemia on all social media platforms. And if you are feeling generous and would like to support High Heels and Lipstick Conversations, hit a sister up on her Cash App. $ She is Nemia. I appreciate the love, y'all. Please know the views and opinions expressed tonight are those of She is Nemia alone and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entity she represents. Also, music was provided by Upbeat Creators at upbeat.io. Smooches. Until next time, y'all.